And this is lesson 6, the rational roots theorem from tier 2. So now we're going to use our rational roots theorem, and then we're going to use a little bit of long division. So we need factors of our constant term, 1. So factors of 1 are just plus and minus 1. Factors of our leading coefficient of 4, those factors are plus and minus 1, plus and minus 2, plus and minus 4, right? 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, those are all of them. So all possible rational roots are p divided by q. So 1 divided by 1, 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by 4, right? I did 1 divided by 1, 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by 4, and it's plus or minus. So all our rational roots are plus or minus 1, plus and minus a half, and plus or minus 1/4. Now, here's the fundamental theorem of algebra. A nth degree polynomial can have up to n roots. So if we look at our polynomial, this is a third degree polynomial, so we can have up to 3 roots. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in these until I find a root. So I'm going to plug in 1, starting with positive 1. And I'm going to see if that's a root. So I'm going to say 4 times 1 cubed minus 3 times 1 plus 1. And to save time, I'm just going to plug this into my calculator. Well, that did not give me 0, so it's not a root. So 1 wasn't a root. Let's try negative 1 now. Same thing, I'm going to plug in negative 1. Now when I plug in negative 1, it does work, so negative 1's a root. So then if I want to make it into a factor, I need to say x minus negative 1. Remember, we say x minus our root makes a factor, so this makes it x plus 1. Now I can use long division to find the other zeros. So I can take 4x cubed minus 3x plus 1 divided by x plus 1, and now I can use my long division. So 4x squared times x gives me 4x cubed, right? 4 times x, and x squared times x is x cubed, and then 4x squared times 1 is 4x squared. And I subtract it. So 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0. And then we don't have an x squared, so I just have negative 4x squared. And now I'm going to bring down this negative 3x. I continue. Now I need negative 4x times x to give me negative 4x squared. And negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, and there's just 1x. So I subtract. Negative 4x squared minus minus makes this plus, and that cancels. And then negative 3x minus minus makes this plus for 1x. And I'm going to bring down my 1 plus 1. And 1 times x squared plus 1 gives me 1x plus 1. And I can subtract that, and I get a remainder of 0, which is what should happen because I tested it up here. So now I have 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. And now I'm going to factor it using the AC method. 4 times 1 is 4. That adds up to negative 4. And negative 2 times negative 2, negative times a negative makes a positive. Negative 2 plus negative 2 gives me negative 4. So I could say x minus 2 x minus 2. And remember, since I multiplied by a, that 4, I need to divide by that 4. So this is now x 2 halves becomes minus 1 half. X minus 1 half. And I could slide it, because that doesn't simplify anymore, to give me 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1. And now it's completely factored. We could even write this as 2x minus 1 squared, because they're both the same. So if I want to find the zeros, I need to set those equal to 0. Square root cancels the square. 2x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides. Divide by 2. X equals 1 half. And since this root happens twice, we say it has a multiplicity of 2, right? It happened 2 times. And then the other root was that negative 1, remember? So there's all 3 roots, right? This one happened twice.